Hello lovely YouTube people. Here I am again with another wobbly video. Um, Again I'm going to try and keep it short, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I won't go for too long because you'll bore me quite quickly if I go on for an hour or something. Anyway, so what do I want to talk about today? I think today I'm just going to talk a little bit about somewhat repeating what I said before about sort of the lead up to GRS and how I came to decide about that, some of those decisions. It's a little bit of a repetition, but hopefully not too much. So where were we? So when I came out to my wife, I identified at the time not as trans. I was just just this guy, and said what I needed to say, and it was just about presentation at the time, about visual presentation and so forth, and expression. And my wife was fine with that, great, very supportive, for which I'm eternally thankful. But she did say that if I wanted surgery, GRS, that would not be okay. That was basically out of bounds, and that was fine by me because I didn't want that. So that was all good. But then things move on. We explore this stuff together. I started HRT, and it started to become clear that actually the GRS was something I did want. Um, One of the things that made that clear was like a lot of going to bed at night and crying. That shouldn't be a thing, but it was. So many long weeks and months, going into years of not being happy with that, and therefore realizing something had to be done. So my wife said to me she realized that I would be happier with surgery, having had that done, and she was right. So I allowed myself to explore that as an option. And I realized that was something um, I realised I hadn't really explored it before because it was kind of forbidden because she'd laid down these ground rules, if you like, initially. Therefore, I didn't think it was possible, didn't think it was allowed. So therefore, I concluded if I can't have it, therefore I don't want it. Completely arse about face, of course. So fast forward a couple of years, that all flips around. It's now something I can have, and therefore I realise that I do want it. And so I started to explore those options. I go back to my GP and say, I need readmission to the GIC because I wanted to look into this and see what we can make happen. That was summer last year, and um, and then time started to pass very slowly indeed, because that was when I started to really notice the wait for the GIC. I didn't feel like I'd had to wait an awful long time before. I think that the appointments I had before for counselling and evaluation and HRT seemed to have gone okay, quite reasonably quickly. I mean, it's far too slow, of course, compared to non-trans healthcare, but other people have had it far worse. It could have been a lot worse. But then seeking readmission for surgery, I had to wait over a year, and that was very slow and drawn out. Year to wait for that. Yeah. Somebody else out there watching this is probably going, only a year? God, I've waited 5. And I'm sorry if that's happened, but a year was plenty for me. One of the things which I found helped pass the time, when I didn't have any progress of my own, and by progress I mean, going to any appointment or even receiving a letter of appointment or anything, all of those things to me felt like progress. It's a thing which helped this week feel different from last week. I've now got a date for my appointment. Good, this is progress. And when that stopped happening, and I was just waiting for a thing, and I had no idea when it was going to happen, that was very hard. And the thing which I found helped me pass the time was basically celebrating other people's progress. So anytime any one of my friends did something which I would count as my progress, I would get happy for them. So a friend says, I've been to the GIC today and I've had this appointment. Hey, well done, good, that's great. A friend says, I've started HRT or whatever, that's great as well. One of my friends had her GRS, had her surgery last October, and I basically invited myself along to go and visit her in hospital, and said, I'd like to come and visit you if that's okay, and she said it was. So I went along, and that was again for me another way of passing the time, of celebrating her progress, a great milestone for her, of course, but also it was good research for me, going along to the hospital and just seeing what it's like, both as a place, just seeing, how's my friend doing? What does it look like to have just had this surgery? What does, how does she just seem as a person? Is she in massive amounts of discomfort? Is she elated? Just all this sort of stuff. I guess it's just exposure to what it's like as a process. So that was last October. Going along both for my own benefits, for learning, and also just as a friend, to visit a friend and say hello and keep her company and chat. So I'm really grateful that I did that, and grateful that she let me do that and was able to accommodate me and do that. She must have known I was doing it for my own benefit as well. I'm sure that wasn't sure that subtext was obvious. So yes, that was the thing that happened. Even, of course, on the day of her surgery, I went to visit her 2 days after her surgery. On the day of her surgery, I remember being at work. I think, like almost everybody else in the whole department of work, was out at some meeting. My mind was just full of my own transition or lack of progress, and also full of my friend's transition and the fact that she was having her surgery at that moment. She'd done the thing of sending the last sort of tweet saying, okay, all prepared, got to put the phone down now, going in for surgery, see you on the other side. She'd done all that. Enter radio silent, And I remember being now at work, glued to Twitter, waiting for news, hoping she's going to be okay, which of course she was. And, just waiting for that. When it came through that she's all done and she's fine and she's doing okay. Relief, of course, for her, and happiness for her. And also, of course, just thinking, I wish it was me. Because I was ready then, and I had to wait. Just keep waiting, because I didn't know how long I was going to have to wait at that point. So yeah, that was watching the news on Twitter of my friend and just going, I really wish it was me right now. And of course it soon will be. 7 days' time, it will be me. It's not far away now. Okay, I'm going to slice that video there, call it a wrap, to keep it nice and digestible. So hopefully that was interesting maybe to you, and if it is, comment, let me know, get in touch. Or maybe I'm just talking to myself in the future, which is also good and fine and very healthy, I'm sure. Okay, take care, see you soon.